Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Woo!
Jonathan Voico's here.
Woo!
Chris Carr is here.
Also will.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And here's how the show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you'd like to get a comment or question for us to address on the show, go ahead and use our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Send it on in, and as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll address it on the show. Also, the good news about that tip link is that it's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not just when the show is live. So if you're watching this show a little bit later on, or if you're listening to this show on the podcast feed, by the way, thank you for subscribing to the podcast feed, you can also send in a question to the tip link, and we will just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, guys. That down, we got a few things to talk about on this Friday, so let's get things started with this. Agatha, all along. It's now 5 days away, and I am very excited for the show. I've been telling everybody, I think you're sleeping on this show. You've got a terrific set of filmmakers behind it, storytellers behind it. You got the showrunner of WandaVision, which is the best thing Disney Plus has done. They've got that person running this show. I love Catherine Hahn. I love this character, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really good. Oh, no. In what could be described as a major blow to my enthusiasm, a report is now circulating that the review embargo for Agatha All Along is actually set for the day the show comes out. Literally, I believe 2 hours before the show comes out.
Ooh.
The full review embargoes for Agatha All Along are now set for, when is it? September 18th.
6 p.m.
At
Is that
6
6
p.m.
p.m.
Pacific.
right when it airs?
I thought it was 8 p.m. our time,
maybe.
but maybe it's right when it airs. Now, granted, in this same little post, it says the social review embargo, which is when they get to tweet about it. Put out a quick little tweet. They say that drops at 9 p.m. 2 days earlier, but the full review, not until then. Listen, Penguin comes out in a week. All the reviews for that are already out. You know why the reviews for that are already out? Because they're great. Because they knew they had a great show in the Penguin. They knew the critics were going to love it. So they lifted the review embargo, and it's got, we're going to talk about it a little bit more a little bit later, but it's got a 93% right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have said for years on this show that when a studio holds the review embargo until like the day before the movie comes out, heaven forbid the day the actual movie comes out, which what I believe The Crow did, that is a red flag. There have been a couple of very rare exceptions to that, but 99% of the time when a studio holds the review embargo until the day before or the day of, that's usually a sign that the studio has no belief in it. Usually. Is that the case here? We won't know till we see it, but it sure as hell doesn't make me any more confident in the show. I woke up this morning with a certain level of excitement for Agatha, and now it's come down a little bit. It's like, hey, Disney, if you think this is a good show, I'm not saying you got to release the reviews today, but if you think this is a good show, wouldn't you want to lift the review embargo a little earlier so that positive buzz can start spreading about it with all the good reviews the show's going to get? Again, listen, I am not sitting here definitively saying that this automatically means the show isn't good. We won't know until we see it, okay? Just take that with a grain of salt. What I am saying is that this isn't exactly a good sign. And now this show that I was very high on and that I was very excited about and that I was very enthusiastic about, I'm not going to say it's all gone, but it's now certainly tempered a lot more than it was just a few short hours ago.
I'm going to rename it Agatha So Long.
Agatha So Long. Agatha All Wrong. I don't know. I'm making up shit. Anyway, Chris, Where has your, I don't think you've been as excited about Agatha as I have. Maybe you have been. Where has your excitement been? And I don't know. Am I getting too worked up all over this? Like, does this mean nothing? Does it mean something? What has it done to your enthusiasm for it? What do you think?
I've been pretty jazzed about this show. I like Agatha Harkness as a character, and I think Kathryn Hahn is a treasure. I love her so much.
She is a national treasure. I love her.
Wonderful. She is one of my favorite people on Parks and Recreation.
Oh,
I love her character so much. The trailers and everything I've seen for this too have been really exciting. The only thing I can think of as far as the review embargoes go that could be maybe this isn't a bad thing, is if there is some huge reveal in that first episode.
Right.
Could be.
And maybe there's that. Maybe we have some big reveal there. Oh my God, Aubrey Plaza is Mephisto. Like something like that.
Or Wanda returns.
Yeah. One of those kinds of
sure.
things. Do I think that's what actually is going to happen though? Probably not. Not in your first episode. I can blow your load that fast. So I am a little worried about them having this drop right as the episode drops. That doesn't make me feel super, super great about this. But you know, I know this show also suffers from a lot of fan theories kind of being thrown
WandaVision
at it.
certainly did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know the Hollywood Reporter recently did an article about this with the creator of trying to like look at those fan theories, and they took them very personally and things like that. So maybe they're just wanting to keep things close to the vest. It just historically has never been a good sign when you wait to let people know how the show is that far in the game.
You were talking about Kathryn Hahn and it being in Parks and Rec and some of the great line. I think my favorite line of hers was she was talking to Chris Traeger, played by Rob Lowe. And I think it's their first time meeting or second time meeting. And she goes, you know, there's a lot of empty bedrooms upstairs. You want to go up and have sex? I'm really good at it.
She's great.
only the way Kathryn Hahn can say it. Which
Doesn't he go like, okay.
Yes, he goes,
Yeah.
okay. And then they run up and then he runs up the stairs. Anyway, she is a treasure. I love her. And I love her as this character. She killed it in WandaVision as Agatha. And I'm really excited about her. I've liked the trailers. Like, I just like everything I've seen so far.
I don't think anyone's gonna like blame anyone for like being excited for the show. It's the spin-off off of what you call
WandaVision.
the best show that Disney Plus
I
has.
personally think it's the best show Disney Plus has
So
done. Yeah.
no one's gonna blame you for actually being excited for this. It's just the review embargo's a big concern. I don't think even like what Chris was saying, like a big spoiler. Why would you even care like that?
Well,
like,
no,
even
I
if
will
one-
get, listen, if what Chris says, if Chris's wild theory is real, like we watched the
You're
first
off the
episode
rails, man.
and it turns
Come on,
out
Hinge.
that,
Vision.
Mephisto.
the actress,
Kathryn Hahn?
no, the other one,
Aubrey Plaza?
Aubrey Plaza. If it turns out literally, we find out in episode 1 that Aubrey Plaza is actually Wanda, right? Or actually Mephisto. I think the Wanda one would be a bigger one. If we watch the first episode and that gets revealed, I'll go, okay, I get it. That,
All right.
okay, I get it. It makes sense. But
Ghost Rider's in.
I gotta tell you,
Johnny Blaze.
hey, Ghost Rider would fit in.
That'd be fun.
But Nicolas Cage. No,
Oh, yeah.
Nicolas Cage
I would
returns as
love
Ghost
it.
Rider. I'm just saying that, look, again, hey, Disney, if you're not going to show confidence in your show, why should I feel confidence in your show? And this is a blow to my confidence in this show. So we'll find out. It's only 5 days away. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Apparently, the review embargo for Agatha, from what we're being told, doesn't lift until the actual day that the show comes out. Big deal, no deal, whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on and talk about this, shall we? Speaking of shows coming out, Penguin, The Penguin, starring Colin Farrell, reprising his role from the Batman, comes out in 1 week. Makes its debut in 1 week. I could not be more excited about it. We've been waxing poetic about this show for a while now. I'm excited. On yesterday's show, the first batch of reviews came out and they were stellar. Absolutely stellar. As a matter of fact, like NPR, their headline right now is, yes, The Penguin is yet another Batman spinoff. It's also one of 2024's best shows. That's NPR's headline. But here's the interesting thing now. Now that there are enough reviews out and they're actually putting up the scores, remember this. The Batman which was great. I loved the Batman. Had an 85% critic rating and an 87% audience rating. Okay, 85% critic rating. The Penguin right now has a higher critic rating than the Batman does at 93%. 93%. 8% higher than the already insanely high The Batman scores. You remember yesterday, we read some of the reviews, right? Some of them saying, one of them even saying, this is the greatest superhero show of all time, or comic book show of all time. Which, how much of a comic book show is it really? I mean, I again, like I said, when I've seen the trailers for this, to me, as opposed to feeling like a comic book show like Arrow or The Flash or what have you, it really feels more like The Sopranos. And all the reviews said this is gritty, this is violent, the performances are insane, all that kind of stuff. And now we're sitting here saying, wow, this is even being better received than the Batman itself was.
Technically, it's one tick higher than Sopranos, which is an average of 92.
So theoretically speaking,
it's better than Sopranos.
How about that?
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah.
But still, you know, it just reminds me a lot of, you know, every once in a while a comic book movie will come out that you're like, you know, it reminds me a little bit of Winter Soldier, which was very definitively a comic book movie, but still you watch that and it really did transcend just the comic book genre. It really did what the filmmaker said it was going to do, which was become a 70s, you know, political thriller kind of thing. And they were able to really straddle those different genres. And this, I'll tell you what, take Penguin out of it. Like, take out of it that Colin Farrell is playing Penguin. Let's just say this wasn't in any way associated with Batman. This wasn't in any way associated with DC. Let's say this was just a new Colin Farrell show called Oz. Not to be confused with the prison show Oz with J.K. Simmons, but it was just like Oz.
Oswald.
Right? And it was just a crime show. I still think this show looks insanely good. Mm-hmm. So I'm stoked about this. Chris, you hear about this. Higher now critic ratings than the Batman itself got, according to Jonathan. Remember, Jonathan Voico said this show's better than Sopranos.
Yeah.
By one tick. Yes.
Chris, what do you make of this? And where's your anticipation level for Penguin like right now?
Man, I'm so hyped for this show. I love this because the Batman film set up the kind of no man's land arc so beautifully.
Yeah, it really did.
And we know that the show picks up right there with that power vacuum and Oz trying to jump in and grab that power, right? And we have one of the Falcones coming back. We got Sophia coming back from Arkham, played by the incredible Kristen Milioti, who I adore.
By the way, you weren't here, but a couple of the reviews of the show said, I mean, most of them talked about how, you know, Colin Farrell may be getting his Emmy for this, but a couple of them said she shines even brighter than Farrell does.
That makes me
like
so
they're all
happy.
saying she's incredible in it.
She is so talented and she's the nicest person in the entire universe. She's so sweet. And I'm so excited to see their dynamic. Like, she gets out of Arkham after killing a ton of sex workers. Her story is going to be bananas. So I think this is one of the things that you can do so well with Batman is, you know, we always talk about Gotham as one of those characters in it. The city itself is a character. The seedy underbelly of it and exploring the mob ties and the crime and everything, the thing that fuels Bruce to take up the cowl in the first place, that is so ripe for excellent storytelling that doesn't have to have vigilantes, that doesn't have to have superpowered people. It's all very humanistic stories that can be so compelling. And with HBO behind this, I mean, I figured it was going to be great, and I'm so pleased to hear this.
Yeah, it's and by the way, Matt Reeves has confirmed that, contrary to some reports that were out there, no, Robert Pattinson's Batman is not going to appear in the show. It's just so great when you tie it in with the movie, because now this show has the opportunity to really establish, like you were saying, Chris, what it is that is motivating and driving Batman. What makes Batman the need to do what he does, this show is going to establish it. And I can't wait to see it, and it's looking so good, and I'm so excited. And hey, look at that, Disney. Warner Brothers is letting the review embargoes come out because they actually believe in their show. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Penguin is sitting at a 93% right now. That doesn't guarantee you're going to like it. Doesn't guarantee I'm going to like it, but it certainly is at least a good sign. However you feel about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, listen. We still got to talk about the main primetime Emmy categories are happening this weekend. Who are going to be the big winners? We're going to go through our predictions. Also, Kelsey Grammer, who popped up as the Beast again at the end of the Marvels, is saying conversations are ongoing about him actually coming into the MCU. We're going to talk about that and a few things more. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second to thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Manscaped and Mando. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Today, I am thrilled to unveil the latest masterpiece from Manscaped, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra in forged gold. Welcome to the golden era of grooming where precision, luxury, and performance meet. In a world where grooming tools come and go, Manscaped is setting the gold standard with this special edition trimmer. If you want to make your grooming routine a statement of sophistication and style, this is the tool that you need. Just a quick PSA though, there are limited quantities available in this color, so you gotta act fast if you want this. Listen, guys, I know that there are still a lot of you who are trying to do personal grooming the old archaic way like I used to do, using the stupid trimmer on your electric razor or some other archaic tools. Look, if you're gonna do it that way, just rename yourself the Butcher of Balltown. It is time to step into the golden era with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Gold. You too can experience unparalleled precision with the next-gen dual skin-safe blade heads, one trimmer blade and one foil blade designed for flawless performance. It's time to join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for all their grooming needs and get the special edition Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra in forged gold while supplies last. So get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Campea at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code Campea at manscaped.com. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mando. Guys, I've got to tell you about something that changed my whole body care game. Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Now, I first heard about Mando last year when they offered to become a sponsor of the show, and I was honestly skeptical. I mean, a deodorant can't really control odor for 72 hours, can it? But after using it myself, I am a believer. You can use it anywhere on your body, and I mean anywhere. It's clinically proven to keep you smelling fresh for up to 72 hours without any irritation. I'm loving the Clover Wood scent, but they've got options like Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and even unscented if you prefer to go stealth mode. I like to use it after the shower, before the gym, or even important meetings. It's that reliable. And right now, Mando's got a killer deal. New customers get $5 off their best-selling starter pack with my exclusive code Campea. That's over 40% off. Just go to shopmando, that's shopmando.com, and use the code Campea. Seriously, guys, if you want a deodorant that's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, and just works better than anything else you've tried, it's time to make the switch to Mando. So don't wait. Control body odor anywhere with Mando. Head over to shopmando.com and use the code Campea and get $5 off your starter pack. Trust me, you're going to love it. That's at shopmando.com. Go and check it out now. And thank you to our friends at Manscaped and Mando for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's get into this, shall we? The big awards for the best in television are happening this weekend. Now, of course, the Emmys are split up into two different weekends. They did a lot of the smaller categories last weekend, and now the big main ones are being handed out this weekend. I mean, Emmy's an Emmy. I'm not trying to say people who won the other ones aren't important. I'm just saying they did break them up, and some of the bigger, more high-profile awards are being handed out this weekend. So who's going to win? Now, again, Shogun has already broken the all-time Emmy Award wins for a show in a single season with 14 after just the first weekend. It could win more awards this weekend to even increase its record. But I thought it'd be fun for us to go through these major categories and look at who, say, USA Today is predicting will win and who we think will win. So let's not waste time. Let's get into it here. We're going to start off with the big one. The big award of the night, Best Drama Series. The nominees are The Crown, Amazon Prime's Fallout, which I was very happy to see that get a nomination, The Gilded Age, The Morning Show, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I love Donald Glover. This show did not deserve to be nominated for Best Drama. Anyway, Shogun and Slow Horses. Now, USA Today, and also Three Body Problem, which I really enjoyed.
That was so good.
I'm really happy Three Body Problem got nominated. They say both should win and will win is Shogun. No brainer.
Yeah.
Shogun is absolutely 100%. It's a lock going to win this award, and so deserving. I mean, I remember when I finished the final episode of Shogun, I said, yeah, this just etch the name on the Emmy now. This is the best show on television right now, and it's going to win. So I agree with USA Today here. It should win. It will win. Again, super happy that Fallout got nominated. Super happy that Three Body Problem got nominated. I'm always happy that The Morning Show, because that's an underappreciated show. That's a hidden gem kind of show. It's way better than I thought it would be. Happy it got nominated. Happy for all the nominees except for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But yeah, this is Shogun's year. Chris, any thoughts on that?
1,000% it's Shogun. I'm really thrilled that Fallout's in there and Three Body Problem, because I loved Three Body Problem. I thought that was going to be so hard to adapt, and they nailed it. But it's
I couldn't believe the job they did, because like
so
many people, like even like Rob was saying, I don't know how you take Three Body Problem and make it something that just an average audience can flow along with it.
Yep.
They adapted, by the way, made by the same guys who did Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
They adapted it in such a way that everybody watched the show and was totally able to go along with it. They did a great job with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all in agreement here. Mm-hmm. This is Shogun's year. All right. Move on to Best Comedy Series.
Shogun.
When he boiled the guy.
Honestly, if The Bear is the best comedy.
I know. We'll get into that again in a second. The nominees are Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Palm Royale, which I didn't watch Palm Royale.
I couldn't get into it. I had to drop out.
Really? I just never even got around to starting it, to be honest. Anyway, Reservation Dogs, and my personal favorite, What We Do in the Shadows. Mm-hmm. Should win, says USA Today, Reservation Dogs.
Yep.
Will win, and they're right about this, The Bear. Now, let's just get this out of the way. I know the last couple of years we always have to do this, but we have to do it. The Bear is not a comedy. Like how you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm and The Bear and say, oh yeah, these are samesies. These are the yuck shows. There are laughs in The Bear. Mm-hmm. There are. It is not a comedy.
No.
And I have no idea why that it keeps getting. I mean, it's an amazing show. And for me, I have no qualms with it winning if it is in this category. I'm just saying it shouldn't be in the category.
Yeah.
My should win pick, though, is What We Do in the Shadows. I particularly thought this last season was like a really good return to form for them.
Sure.
But I have no problems with The Bear, and The Bear is going to win. How do you see it?
Yeah, The Bear's going to win. I agree with them, though, that it should be Reservation Dogs. Reservation Dogs was great. I have a really fun podcast episode about this, actually, on Two Filthy Casuals. I love this show. And I think they should win. They had such a strong closing to that series, but it's going to go to The Bear. And real quick, too, because there's always someone who thinks they just like have a great gotcha moment, who's like, oh, they mean drama and category in the same way that Shakespeare treated comedy and drama. No.
Dude, I have seen that
not
too.
What that is.
Yeah, that's
not what that is.
Such a nonsensical
Don't pretend
argument.
like you have greater media literacy
You're
than other
coming
people.
up with that.
That's just a nonsense excuse. The Bear is a dramedy that leans heavier on the drama, but it's excellently done. So it definitely, I think, is going to win.
A guy takes over a restaurant when his drug-addicted brother commits suicide.
Zing.
Like
laughs galore.
Anyway, again, it's a fabulous show, though. It's so
it's
good.
Amazing.
The mom loves driving her car into houses.
That's just an Italian Christmas, though.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Move on to the other type of show they've got listed, the Best Limited or Anthology Series. The nominees are Baby Reindeer, Fargo, Lessons in Chemistry, Ripley, and True Detective Night Country. The USA Today is saying who should win is True Detective Night Country. I actually agree. And the will win is Baby Reindeer. Again, what I actually agree. I mean, Baby Reindeer has all the buzz, all the momentum it totally captured the pop cultural consciousness when it was out. I actually, now look, True Detective Night Country isn't better than the first season of True Detective with Matthew McConaughey. It's not, but I think it's the best True Detective they've done since. And I thought it was really quite good. I would have voted for that, but I think Baby Reindeer will win. Who should win? Who will win?
I'm Baby Reindeer on both counts.
On both counts.
It's such a well executed series. God, it was haunting. It stays with you. It makes you mad as you watch it. This is a great category. Everything in here is tremendous. I really enjoyed Lessons in Chemistry as well. It's such a great series that I think didn't get enough eyes on it, honestly, because whenever I talk about it to people, they're like, huh? What?
Yeah,
Brie Larson
so
has a
many
show?
people haven't watched it.
It's really great. And again, another wonderful adaptation of a novel that really, really elevated the material.
All right, now we get into some of the performances. Nominated for Best Lead Actress in a Drama Series: Jennifer Aniston for The Morning Show, Carrie Coon for The Gilded Age, Maya Erskine in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Anna Sawai in Shogun, Imelda Staunton in The Crown, and Reese Witherspoon in The Morning Show. USA Today says both should and will win. Sawai, no doubt.
Correct.
I mean, listen, I would not count out ever Jennifer Aniston in The Morning Show. Never count her out. But I mean, I other than Best Drama Series win, I think this is the next automatic lock. I mean, every moment she was on screen, she captivated and owned the screen. In the same way that she captivated the other characters in the show, she captivated the audience. I loved her in that Godzilla show, Monarch.
Monarch, yeah.
I loved her in Monarch, but I mean, this is a different kind of show, and she so elevated it. This is hers. Should and will. What do you see?
Oh, it absolutely is hers. It's absolutely hers. Please, 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 too, if you have not already, go and watch her Actors on Actors interviews.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
So phenomenal, just because she talks so much about her experience of the types of roles she's even offered to audition for, and how this was such a game changer for her. And it's so, so good. She is excellent in this series. She's excellent in everything I've seen her in. I adore her.
She was a K-pop star before she got in the
I love her so much. And I will say, Jennifer Aniston is a force, but this latest season of The Morning Show was all over the place. And that's tricky when you try to bring in real world events and then, fictionalize them and have them fit with your characters and everything too. Makes sense for a new show, but still, there were some reaches this season that I just don't feel like it's theirs. I don't feel like she's the
who
lock.
did that well? Remember the Jeff, he was in Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey. Jeff
Daniels.
Daniels. Oh,
the
Newsroom.
Newsroom
was
did a
phenomenal.
really good job of taking really world events into their fictional world. But you're right. It's a very, very tricky thing to do. Anyway, we all agree Anna Sawai is good, should win, will win this. It'll be another big win for Shogun. All right. Next in the performance category, Lead Actor Drama Series: Idris Elba in Hijack, Donald Glover in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Walton Goggins in Fallout, Gary Oldman in Slow Horses, Hiroyuki Sanada in Shogun, and Dominic West, I love Dominic West, in The Crown. USA Today both say should win, will win, Sanada. You want to talk about power and screen presence? Hiroyuki Sanada, I don't care whether he's playing Scorpion, or if he's playing Silver Samurai, or if he's playing, Lord Toranaga. When he's on screen, he has one of the most commanding presences, particularly playing Toranaga in Shogun, that I have ever seen. And when he starts barking orders, it's like, oh, like it sends shivers through your spine. This is so automatically him, almost as automatic, I think, as Anna Sawai. So, yeah, I agree with USA Today. This is a should win, will win. It's definitely going to be Sanada. How do you see this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Shogun's year. It's Shogun's year. If they are nominated for something, I'm just assuming it's going to them. Unless it's comedy and it's then the bear.
All right. Speaking of comedy, now we get into lead actress in a comedy series. Quinta Brunson in Abbott Elementary. Ayo, I always mispronounce her last name, Edebiri in The Bear. Selena Gomez in Only Murders in the Building. Maya Rudolph in Loot, another show that I have not watched. I have not watched Loot, to be honest.
Loot's so fun.
Even though I really like Maya Rudolph. Jean Smart in Hacks. Kristen Wiig in Palm Royale. They say the should win, will win. Both Smart for Hacks. She's really kind of dominated this lately. Now, me personally, I think she's won it already, but Quinta Brunson in Abbott Elementary has taken that Parks and Rec, The Office formula and really just hits that out of the park. Like I would say to the degree that, Michael Scott did, in The Office. So I would personally lean there, but I think they're right. I think Jean Smart's going to win it. What's your should win, will win for this category?
I'm actually the same as you because I love Quinta. I think she's so great. I think Abbott Elementary is such a wonderful series. It kind of fills for me the Ted Lasso thing in my heart that I've been missing of just good people who I'm rooting for.
Good people doing good things.
Doing good things, yeah. And it's just nice, wonderful, simple stories of you want these teachers to have the best lives possible because they're trying so hard to make these kids have the best lives possible. That being said, Jean Smart is out of bounds on Hacks. That show is so good. That is one that Logan keeps auditioning for too, and we just keep being like, please, let him get in the room with Jean Smart. She's so phenomenal. I've loved her ever since watching Designing Women with my mom as a kid, and this would be so well deserved.
You know what I loved, like, unless I'm wrong about this, but you know what I really loved her in recently? Mayor of Easttown.
As the mom,
Yes,
she was
the mom.
so good.
She was so good in that. Like it's and
She's
she was
wonderful.
also like she was also in Legion. Remember she was in Legion as well? Like she can do it all.
She's
just one of
incredible.
these actresses who can do it all.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, lead actor in a comedy series. Matt Berry for What We Do in the Shadows. He's so good in that. Jackie Daytona, Human Bartender. Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Steve Martin in Only Murders in the Building. Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building. Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. DeFaro Woon Atai for Reservation Dogs. They say should win Barry. I love Barry. I would say Steve Martin this time around, but they're saying will win Jeremy Allen White. Again, have to give the caveat, this is not a comedy. He gives a brilliant, dramatic performance, but he's going to win this. Anyway, Chris.
I mean, those panic attacks are hilarious.
Yeah, they're so funny.
Particularly this season is a real raw nerve.
Yeah, remember when he got
for
locked
him.
in the freezer?
Yeah.
Laugh a minute.
It's an intense season for him. Barry is so great. DeFaro is so wonderful as Bear. He is lovely. That's the Bear, honestly, who I think should win here. His character on Reservation Dogs was so wonderful. And yeah, Steve Martin and Martin Short are always killing it too. I would love to see Matt Berry take it, and I know he won't, and that really bums me out.
He's so good in that show. I mean, I think this upcoming season is the final season, right? Oh, it breaks my heart.
Well, I just, if you were an actor who can take dialogue and change it so much, in the same way that Catherine O'Hara did this with Schitt's Creek, right? The
Yes.
Bay, all of the way New York City, the way he can elongate words and make them so much funnier than what's on the page, like that's the kind of guy who I went winning in a comedy category.
That whole cast of What We Do in the Shadows
They're
is
incredible.
so phenomenal. But yes, I have no problems with White winning. None at all. Again, my qualm just, you got him in the wrong category.
Yeah.
But that's just me. All right. Those are all the major ones. By the way, interesting footnote here. I believe Robert Downey Jr. is also up for Best Actor in a Limited Series or Anthology for... I'm freezing the name.
Yeah, I can't remember that one where he plays
He
the
plays so
different
many different
roles.
parts.
Yes, where he plays all the different roles. Now, here's why that's interesting. If Robert Downey Jr. wins that, he will be
Sympathizer.
the sympathizer. Thank you. If he wins that, Robert Downey Jr. will become the first actor in history to win an Oscar, a daytime Emmy, because which he won for his Cars show that he does. He will be the first actor in history to win an Oscar, a daytime Emmy, and a primetime Emmy in the same year.
Wow.
No other actor has ever done that before in history. So Robert Downey Jr. could be making a little bit of history this year. So that's one of the other things to keep an eye on. But it clearly looks like it's going to be Shogun's year. They're going to be adding minimum 3, 4, 5 more awards to their already record-breaking 14. It's going to be nuts. Let's say this thing ends up with 19 Emmys. The previous record was 13. 13! That's how much it shattered the record by. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about all this? What are the big categories you're looking for at the Emmys this year? You got a particular show you're really cheering for? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. By the way, I was very happy, just want to bring it up again, that last week they presented the award for Best Animated Show of the Year. Blue-Eyed Samurai. Guys, if you have not watched Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix,
What are you doing?
it's phenomenal. It's so good. Like Chris said, what are you doing? Go watch Blue-Eyed Samurai. It won the Emmy for Best Animated Show of the Year. Go check it out. It's absolutely great. All right. As with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Kelsey Grammer, Frasier himself. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs. Well, of course, remember, he started playing Beast in the X-Men universe over at Fox. I believe his first appearance as Beast was in X-Men The Last Stand. Not a particularly memorable movie, but he was great as Beast. He was so good as Beast. And then, of course, he popped up again, surprisingly, at the end of the Marvels as Hank McCoy, Beast, in that space station. This time a fully CG animated one as opposed to him in makeup and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the question has persisted. Wait a minute, is he going to be in the MCU moving forward? People like me have kind of assumed no, just thought that was just a fun little thing. But according to Kelsey Grammer, it is possible he may be entering the MCU as Beast, beyond just that little appearance in that post-credit scene. This comes to us from the folks at CBR write the following. Speaking with comicbook.com, Grammer was asked whether he'd reprise his role as Beast in future MCU projects. While Grammer couldn't get into details, he revealed talks with Marvel took place after the quote-unquote overwhelming response to his appearance in the Marvel's post-credit scene. He said this, "There's nothing I can talk about," Grammer said. "What I do know is that there was a huge sort of outburst when I showed up at the end of the Marvels. I guess it was. The response was really almost, it wasn't unexpected. There'd be some response, but it was pretty overwhelming. And so there are some conversations." All right. This just opens up that Pandora's box again of these ongoing conversations about, because look, the Fox X-Men universe is now done. Hell, the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, and in the end credits, even gave this great little serenade send-off, remembering a final send-off to the Fox X-Men universe. I hope you had the time of your life, showing all the clips and behind-the-scenes stuff from all those great, some of them were great, some of them not so great, Fox X-Men and Fantastic Four movies and all that kind of stuff. It was a great send-off. And yet, whispers persist that maybe Hugh Jackman will pop up as Wolverine more. I still don't think he will, but it's possible. Those rumors continue to persist. We had Kelsey Grammer pop up at the end of the Marvels, and now conversations that he may even come back more. How dead is the Fox X-Men universe? And it brings up the question again. When we do have our new X-Men, is it truly going to be new? Or is it going to be a mishmash of Fox era characters with new characters? And by characters, I mean actors playing those characters. Because I've always believed, look, if you're starting fresh, start frickin' fresh. Start with a clean slate, all new actors across the board, all that kind of stuff. But if you're going to be bringing him in, and I still don't think they will, but if you're going to continue on Hugh Jackman, and there are even some whispers out there that James McAvoy could come back. McAvoy himself is denying it. So, but again, it brings that up. Look, I'll just say this. I really like Kelsey Grammer. I actually went to go see, Ann and I went to the Hollywood Bowl about a year ago to see Beauty and the Beast in concert. And Kelsey Grammer was Lemure. Wow. And the candlestick. Ooh. And it was great. It was great. I love him. I love Frasier. I loved him as Beast and Hank McCoy, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's like conversations. I don't know. It's time to move on. And maybe you do pull in a couple of Fox era characters just for like Secret Wars. I guess you could do that, and that's fine. Just as long as once we go past Secret Wars, because remember, we talked about on the show yesterday that Marvel executive confirmed the multiverse saga ends with Secret Wars. Thank God. So the multiverse saga ends with Secret Wars. So maybe you could have him pop up in something like that and then move on. So I don't know. Chris, you heard these comments from Kelsey Grammer. What are your thoughts?
I feel like, yeah, you have him pop up in something else. I don't know why this is like shocking right now, but then we wrap up this storyline because we had him in that little stinger. We had him at the end in that post credit. And then he's part of the conclusion of the multiverse saga because we need to wrap that up. Because this is also talking about a greater issue I'm having with Marvel right now. I keep getting these post credit scenes that feel like nothing's going to happen with them. Right? Because now I've got this other Earth beast. I've got Thanos' brother. I've got stuff happening with Blade, maybe. I've got Hercules. You know, all these other characters where it's, so we gonna do anything with that, or is that just a fun thing for us to go?
No, just
oh, hey, I've read that comic.
Keep having more movies, introduce more and more characters, and
that we just like go hi.
Move along.
Yeah. So I think you have him in Secret Wars. You do that story, you complete that, and then you bring in new X-Men. That being said, I wouldn't be bummed out if we had a whole bunch of Kelsey Grammer because he kills it in this role. He is exactly who I want as a Hank McCoy kind of character because he is such an intellectual. He
sounds like one too.
Well,
Yeah.
and Sally Field talks about this great concept called an actor's golden truth, where there is something about a certain actor that you just cannot deny. And Gregory Peck and Kelsey Grammer share this trait of they're intellectuals. You do not buy them as things that are not intellectuals because of just the way they present themselves. Kelsey Grammer isn't going to read Hillbilly, right? That's more my speed. You put him in this role, and he could do it. But
look out for them Italian hillbillies.
That's right.
The Italian hillbillies are dangerous.
Swampy Italians. Oh my gosh, we're a mess. We are unhinged individuals. So him in this role is so fun because of the dichotomy of Hank versus Beast, right? Of having somebody who can be this feral thing that breaks bad in a really crazy way in the comics, being this really lovely, intelligent, gentle character. And he did that so well. So if he comes back for more than Secret Wars, I wouldn't be mad about it. It just seems like an odd choice to pick and choose cafeteria style.
Yeah.
Which universes stick around and who gets a full reboot.
Yeah, now look, I saw somebody say Kelsey Grammer's now too old to play the role. But there would be a couple things. The end of the Marvels tells us that if they did, these are big ifs, guys, we're just playing around with some conversation here, okay? But if they did, I mean, the Beast at the end of the Marvels was a fully CGI character. And guess what? Kelsey Grammer isn't actually that old.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I just saw an interview with him this morning talking about Frasier coming back, and I thought he was in his mid to late 70s. He's 69. He's
69, dudes!
But he's the best age.
Walked
He's
right into it.
actually not that old. He could still do this for another 7, 8, 9 years.
He was only
especially if he's just doing the voice.
Yeah, he was only like 33 on Cheers.
Yeah.
This is crazy, but yeah.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. He was 33 on Cheers?
Listen, people had city miles on them then, okay?
Yeah, I guess
they were
so.
aging in a very different way.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Kelsey Grammer says there are conversations going on about his continued involvement in the MCU. How does that make sense? Could it make sense? Do you think would you welcome it? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down on this delightful Friday, it's now time for us to go down to the most important part of our show, which is taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take another quick moment and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, the good folks at BetterHelp. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. Hey guys, it's John here. You know, as kids, we're always learning new things, whether it's how to ride a bike, play an instrument, or even ace that math test. But as adults, it seems like we lose a bit of that natural curiosity. When was the last time you learned something new just for the fun of it? Like new skills, a new language, or maybe just how to finally beat your best friend at that game. You know, therapy can be a fantastic way to reconnect with that sense of wonder. It's like going back to school, but this time time, it's for you. It's about learning new coping skills, setting boundaries, and empowering yourself to become the best version of you. And the best part, it's not just for those who have experienced major trauma. It's for anyone looking to grow and learn more about themselves. If you've ever thought about starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's completely online, making it super convenient and flexible to fit into your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a quick questionnaire and you'll be matched with a licensed therapist who fits your needs. Plus, if things aren't clicking, you can always switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. So rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Take the first step to being your best self. And thank you to our friends at BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get on to your topics and questions. Jonathan, what we got up first?
Fellow Canadian says, you visit Vegas often.
Yes, I do.
My mom is angry that Canada legalized sports betting, not just because all the ads, but how they try to hook young people and create a new generation of addicts. Does she have a point? Some say gambling can be worse than alcohol.
Sure, it can, but gambling has been legal in Canada. I mean, they've had sports bet or whatever it is. They had, like, the Ontario government actually ran sports betting. Even when I was there, it was like for 20, 25 years there. Listen, sports betting is legal. You can do it. It's whatever. So yeah, it's fine. Listen, there's a lot of things that are legal that only adults are allowed to do. And does it present a danger that younger people could get involved in it? Sure, but then that's up to you to make sure that they don't. Anyway, I have no problem with it, so that's just me. All right, what's next?
Schickster says, speaking of trading places and coming to America, how about the homeless Randolph and Mortimer Duke cameo in Coming to America getting pocket change from Akeem? Top 5 cameo ever for me. What are great cameos that come to mind for you guys?
I don't know off the top of my head, but yes, that was one of the very first times, very early. I mean, it happens all the time today especially with cross universe stuff and shared universe stuff. But at that time, when those guys, the villains from Trading Spaces, did a quick cameo, like on the street collecting pocket change, we're back. That was one of the first times I remember as a kid ever seeing like movie crossover stuff. And I thought it was wild. Do you remember that one?
I do. Yeah, it's fun. It's a good one. Mine was going to be Steve Martin as the waiter in the Muppet movie.
Oh, yeah. Not necessarily movies, but
He's
I
perfect.
did like how Mad About You linked Friends and Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Because
I don't remember that.
yeah,
either.
because it was in Friends, it was what's her name's evil sister twin? It was
Phoebe's.
Phoebe,
Yeah.
Phoebe's sister was the waitress
Ursula?
where Ursula
Yeah.
would go where the couple from Mad About You would go to eat. She was the waitress there. And it was Kramer's apartment was
there the couple's apartment?
why can't I
right?
think
He
of it, the main character's name in Mad About You? And he's
Paul
in
Reiser?
Paul Reiser's
Yeah.
apartment. So Paul Reiser subletted to Kramer. That was his apartment.
That's so I never knew that.
Yeah.
Never knew that. All right, what's next?
Spencer Smothers with the two-parter says, I have a book recommendation for you, Starter Villain by John Scalzi. It's about a divorced substitute teacher who inherits his late estranged uncle's supervillain business, secret volcano, island layer, and all. This book reminds me of the show Powerless. The book was recently optioned by Paramount and Ryan Reynolds' production company, Maximum Effort for a Movie. This book has a perfect type of humor for a Ryan Reynolds project. Check out Starter Villain. I really think you will enjoy this book.
I am absolutely going to go and add that to my Amazon list.
Yeah, that sounds
It definitely
fun.
That sounds great to me. I think that sounds wonderful.
It definitely sounds like something where the author was like, this could be optioned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I don't feel like writing a bunch of dialogue, but we're gonna do this.
All right, what's next?
Sylvia says, as we grow up and grow older, our thoughts and emotions become more complicated and multidimensional. I love how this is portrayed in Inside Out 2. To me, this is Pixar, taking everyday relatable aspects of life and depicting them in a visual creative medium.
Yeah.
One of the other ways to me that Inside Out 2 really epitomizes, which by the way, Inside Out 2 comes to Disney Plus this month, but that really epitomizes Pixar as a whole is something that I've often talked about, in the sense that Pixar does not make kid films. They make kid-friendly films. Yes, kid-friendly. But their themes and their subject matter is always much more higher as far as age-targeted stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I always go back to the first Incredibles. Like, the real issue of The Incredibles is this late to middle-aged man who kind of is lamenting the place he's at in his life, thinking about the potential he had when he was younger and the things he used to do and yearning to go back to that sort. These are all things no kid would understand. But the struggles of being parents and all that, like, all of that is beyond a kid. Inside Out 2 is a great representation of that, because while there's definitely kid-friendly things in it, for sure, a lot of it deals with like stuff that are directly targeted at people like in their 30s or older, about remember going through this, remember feeling this, and then going beyond that of not only remembering that, but like when anxiety gets manifested, you're like, so many adults are like, that is exactly how I feel sometimes, right? That is Pixar. At the heart of it, that's what Pixar does, and why they are one of the best in the business.
Yeah. Because we had a lot of questions too on the show about how do you get into writing, specifically screenplays or things like that. Do yourself a favor and go check out Pixar's rules to writing. It will change the way you approach stuff. It is so, so helpful. They are masters of storytelling for a reason, and they've got a great list of ways that you can move your characters and story forward that is just so helpful.
All right, what's next?
Twilight Boy.
Twilight Boy.
Deadline is tracking Joker 2 to open at 75 million, and all of the most reliable trackers on Box Office Theory are saying it could be significantly worse than that. We can't say for sure yet, but I worry about the near future of the DC brand if even this flops.
Ooh, it's
First of all, who says a $70 million opening is anywhere near a flop?
Just because it tracks lower does not mean it flops.
Like, I've seen a couple that are saying 70, which is lower than the 100 million that the first Joker opened with too. But I've been telling you guys from day one, Joker 2 is not going to be the same box office level that Joker 1 was. No chance. But it still would rank as one of the highest opening weekends of the year.
Especially for an R-rated comic book movie.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it does get a $70 million opening, and that's an if, but if it does, which is what most places are tracking right now, that's a damn good opening. It's a good opening. Now, to your question, though, let's say Joker 2 flops. Let's say makes $280 million worldwide total. Okay, let's just go with that for a second. It doesn't do anything to the DC brand.
No.
Any more than the first Joker making $1 billion helped the DC brand, because it is a very separate Elseworld kind of thing. It's not tied into anything else. And so when the first one made $1 billion, did that help The Flash? Did it help Black Adam? Did it help Blue Beetle? Did it help anything associated with the actual DC brand? No. And therefore, if for some reason Joker 2 flops, and I don't think it'll flop, it ain't going to be as big as the first one, but I don't think it's going to flop. But if it does, it has no impact on the bigger actual DC universe that James Gunn has coming. So positively with $1 billion, didn't make any difference. Negatively with a flop, it won't make any difference. I don't know, Chris, how do you see that?
Yeah, exactly. It's so far removed. It's an Elseworld story. That's really what it is. So it's not like we're going to watch this and go, oh man, now I'm never going to watch a Matt Reeves movie again. Like, they're totally different things. I will say too, and I know that I'm the Joker naysayer of this group, where it wasn't really my cup of tea. I get why people like it, but it was a one and done for me. People I know who have gotten to see some of this and speak to executives are saying this is not great.
Oh.
Well, it's got last I checked, it had an over 60% rating, a critic rating.
Yeah.
Which is not great, but only like 6 or 7% off what the first Joker was at.
And to that point too, and again, I say this as somebody who it was not my cup of tea. It could be a very polarizing film like the first one.
I think it should be,
and it should be.
Joker should be.
Yeah, you should. You should leave that movie conflicted
Being
about
like,
how you feel about it.
Should I celebrate this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same kind of people though who are like, oh yeah, I love this movie and I have a Fight Club poster in my wall forever. And like, those are the kind of folks that I get nervous about these movies. Of like, we're not celebrating Joker. This is a cautionary tale. But you should leave it going, oh, I don't know how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's standing at 62%.
Okay.
62?
47 reviews.
So
Not many
62,
reviews,
which
but
which
62.
literally the first one, it's only 7% lower than the first one was. So
Yeah.
it's the first Joker is a movie I loved, but it was definitely not for everybody, which is one of the reasons why I've been saying all along this is not going to be $1 billion film. But anyway, what's next?
All right, Twilight Boy is back.
Twilight Boy.
Ah, boy!
I was surprised you said Beetlejuice 2 wasn't funny. It was the first movie in theaters in years to make me belly laugh. That tattoo scene in Joyride came close to it, though. You know, I still haven't seen Joyride.
Oh my God, it's so
It's
funny.
so fun.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
I know,
Watch
it's
it
not-
in front of your kids.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
not watch it in
Do
front of your
not.
kids.
Oh, sweet
Yeah.
baby Jesus.
Do
Uh,
not.
Just over this week. But all humor is subjective. At least we can all agree Madam Web was bad. No, I thought,
Yeah,
it was,
listen,
I thought Madam Web
and that's
was
the thing.
awesome.
I love that there are people who really enjoyed Beetlejuice. I love that. Like, that's one of the differences between me and some other people out there. I actually want people to like movies they go see, even if they're movies I don't like. Now, yes, for me, Beetlejuice was not just unfunny; it was painfully unfunny. Other than the moose joke, I admit the moose joke made me laugh out loud. That was a hilarious joke. Nothing else in that movie made me even grin. I thought it was awkwardly and painfully unfunny.
Aw.
But that doesn't mean, like you said, all humor is subjective. That doesn't mean you're not going to like it. That doesn't mean other people are not going to like it. It's got a lot of fans right now, and I celebrate that, even though it's a film that I personally didn't work for me. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, what is the key to HBO's success that has enabled them to maintain such consistent quality over the years? It seems like their writing teams are always top-notch, resulting in great shows. Why don't more studios replicate their approach?
Everybody tries.
Also, they have so much money.
Do they, though?
Well, I mean,
Like, compared to
Well, they know where
Amazon,
to spend their money.
Netflix, Disney, do they have that?
Do
kind
they
of
know
money?
how to spend their money?
They know how to spend their money.
Because HBO was always, it's not TV, it's HBO.
Yeah.
Right? So back in the day, HBO stuff was, these are movies. This is broken down with the same quality of what you see in a movie
Yeah.
theater. And it had that approach and it had that seriousness about what they were doing. And it had an even different aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Where you watched and you went, oh, this looks like it's being shot on something different than what I'm watching on primetime television.
Yeah, a lot of stuff there was not like static shots and stuff like that.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
put a lot of funding initially. Now you've got people like Amazon with the Bezos money, with Apple's money, all of that gunning for them. And those channels, like streaming networks, are churning out some really great quality stuff, particularly Apple. But I do think they just set that caliber way earlier than anyone else. Like NBC was churning out comedies and, procedurals, and they just weren't on the same level.
But here's the other thing. I always kind of laugh a little bit when somebody says, well, what? Hey, HBO's making these great shows. Why don't these other places do that too? It reminds me of like watching sports and going, wait a minute. The Golden State Warriors have Seth Curry who just keeps hitting all these 3-pointers. Why don't other teams do that?
Just get a player that is
Because
that
it's
good.
not as easy as it looks. Because it's very picking, first of all, the skill set it takes and the feel and the finesse of being able to like look over script pitches and concepts and stuff like that, and being able to identify what one do they think really has the opportunity to work and doesn't, is a very rare skill that everybody thinks is easy. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard. And the success of HBO making the highest quality stuff ever starts with having the ability to recognize the potential in something where other people may not have seen it. Like, who would have thought just another mobster show, Sopranos, was like, so basically we want to make a knockoff of The Godfather? Like, is that what we're doing? Like, having the ability and the sensibilities to be able to do that, that's a very rare skill. And it's something, that's where it starts. That HBO has always just had that ability to be the best at picking out those shows and these concepts. Because remember, for every one show you see get made, there's 5,000s that get turned down.
Yep.
And the ability to pick out those diamonds in the rough is a very, very rare skill that everybody wishes they had HBO's executives.
Yeah.
So it's as complicated and as simple as that. All right, what's next?
All right, Sir Ivan Bennett says, greetings. I just came back from seeing Hans Zimmer play at Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
Cool.
It was utterly epic. He played music from Man of Steel, Dark Knight, Dune, Pirates, Inception, and more. He's in LA October 11th. I think. Go get tickets. You won't regret it. I've seen him before.
We have our tickets. We have our
Where is it? The
tickets.
Hollywood Bowl?
Yeah, Hollywood Bowl.
Ooh.
And was it Hollywood Bowl or was it Crypto? I can't remember. Ann's got them. So listen, obviously the number one song, like when I go to a John Williams concert, I'm looking forward to the Imperial March. I'm looking forward to the Indiana Jones theme. I'm looking forward to the Jurassic Park.
It is Crypto.
It is Crypto.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I'm looking forward to all those things, right? With Hans Zimmer, obviously the number one thing I'm looking forward to him playing is the Henry Cavill Superman theme. But my second one that I'm most looking forward to isn't Inception. He did Inception, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't Inception. Isn't Dark Knight. The one I'm looking forward to hearing the most, because I think it's the most, a certain piece of music plays and you feel the adventure. His Pirates of the Caribbean theme.
Mm.
Bum bum bada bum bum bada bum bum bada bum.
That's my running music.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah.
You pretend you're running from something?
Yeah, because I'm so unmotivated. So I have to have something like that. So that I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta get away from the pirate.
But doesn't that music just inspire a sense of adventure in
It
you when
does.
you hear it?
Yeah. Oh man. I feel way better about that than when I'm like running around Studio City, like, well, gotta bob and weave.
All right, what's next?
I'm a Warrior, Tom says, hey guys, just wanted to give a sincere compliment to John for the genius use of the term fleece when describing how Sony did Marvel in the Spider-Man deal.
Yeah.
If that was a reference to Fleece Johnson, then it was very much godlike pun. Keep rocking, sir.
Oh no, that's an old saying when you
we
fleece
get
somebody. So basically, I think it was during an open mic. Basically, what I said, because somebody asked a question, what do you think it's going to take for Disney to get the Spider-Man rights back from Sony? And I said, they're never going to do it. Number one, because Sony ain't going to give them up unless it's a ridiculously high price, and Marvel isn't going to pay the type of price that Sony's going to be asking for. And I said, in that original deal, Sony hosed Marvel. They totally fleeced them. Because imagine this, if you are Sony, here's what you got out of that deal. Let me get this straight. We get to keep the rights to Spider-Man, but you make the movies. And once you're done making the movie belongs to us, and we decide how to distribute it and where to put it and all that kind of stuff. Marvel got hosed. Now, I pointed out in the show that Marvel got what they wanted. They wanted Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they got that. That's what they wanted. That's what they got. But what Sony got out of that deal was so much more. They get to keep the character. They get to be the ones to decide what happens with the character. They got Marvel to make the movie, so they don't even have to make the movies. And once Marvel makes the movie, they got to put it on a platter and hand it to Sony. Say, we made the movie. Here you go.
And all that money went to Madam Web.
And all that money went to Madam Web.
Come on.
Sony totally hosed Marvel. But to Marvel, they knew they got hosed, but but ultimately they got what they wanted. So yeah, why on God's green earth, if you're Sony, would you ever give that up? You wouldn't. And yeah, if Marvel came along and said, we'll give you $10 billion. Well, it's not worth $10 billion. So that's the thing. The price it would take for Sony to give it up would be a price that Marvel would simply, or any reasonable human being, would not be willing to pay. So Sony's going to keep making Venoms and Madam Webs and hopefully more good ones like Venoms than the bad ones like the Morbiuses and the Madam Webs, or their Across the Spider-Verse movies or whatever. But they ain't ever given up this sweet deal, because it is the sweetest sugar plum deal ever done in Hollywood, and they are clearly the big winners of it. All right, what's next?
Heisenberg says, hope you're well. Did you get a chance to watch Kite Man? Hell yeah. Slow in the beginning, but got interesting as it came to the end. Waiting for Harley Quinn season 5. Thanks, Bring on the Filthy.
You know what? I still have only watched the first 2 episodes.
I haven't watched any of it.
And
Okay, man.
I mean, listen, it's again, I'm
behind.
only 2 episodes in. What I will say about the first 2 episodes is very enjoyable, not on the same level as Harley Quinn. Definitely the same style as Harley Quinn. And enjoyable. I liked it, but I never got around to just just forgot about it. Like I watched the second episode and then I just never went back to it. So I will go back to it and finish it. I liked what I saw. I enjoyed the first couple of episodes, but I hope you're right in that it gets better as it goes along because it's not near that really high quality level that Harley Quinn is. All right, what's next?
All right. But technically, it is even with Sopranos at 92%. So Sopranos and Kite Man are about the same in quality. So there you go.
They're basically the same.
It's
Yeah.
like the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Penguin's a little better than both, but those two are about the same.
Okay.
I'm going to turn into the next episode of Kite Man and see Big Pussy make a cameo. I mean,
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Julia Goodwin says, with all the remakes coming out recently, kind of disappointed that the news of DeVito's War of the Roses remake is being flown under the radar. I've always wanted a remake to the movie since the original is sloppy with pacing and at times, in my opinion.
You know, I totally forgot about the fact that they announced that they're going to remake War of the Roses.
Oh, I thought it already came out.
Did it? I mean,
It was a long time ago.
but you're right. Ever since I remember we covered that story a long time ago, but I don't know where it's at. Look, it's totally fine if a movie's flying under the radar if it's not on its approach to release yet. That's fine that it's flying under the radar. I haven't heard anything about it since that original announcement.
Was
though.
that one supposed to star like Emmy Ross? What's that?
Rosen?
Yeah, or it's either her or the girl from Mean Girls.
I
What's her
think
name?
it was.
It's Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was.
Isn't it? Isn't it who is going to be in War of the Roses?
What was
Olivia
That's what-
Colman was playing. Really?
Yeah.
Because the original was Michael Douglas, and it was the Romancing the Stone cast,
Yeah.
basically. War of the
Yeah.
Roses was the Romancing the Stone cast. But I don't, again, I haven't heard anything about it since, but I hope it's still happening.
'Cause that's what they said in April
Says
in Variety. But
Jay
maybe.
Aline, Melissa Ford. I don't even know if this is even the same because it's.
Oh, and
All
then-
right.
yeah, Deadline posted about it in June, where they've
Yeah.
added cast members. But
Okay, so I guess it's still coming. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, I am floored by how good Ring Season 2 is. Episode 5 was just some insanely good drama. I can't believe how fast everything is moving as opposed to last season. I feel like Season 1 would have taken 14 episodes to cover where we are now. Sauron is creepy.
I'll tell you what.
I haven't seen 5 yet. I forgot. I gotta watch
I
it.
watched 5 yesterday. I loved it.
it was so
Dang.
great.
I loved it. The without giving too many spoilers away, they did something that you haven't really seen them do in Game of Thrones, in Lord of the Rings a lot. It's seeing what the rings do, and I thought they handled it beautifully. When you see the way it was starting to corrupt during the third, and just it's subtle, and then it grows, and then the whole thing about Celebrimborn and how he got manipulated. And you're right, freaking
Anatar.
Anatar,
Lord of Gifts.
It's
Lord of Gaslighting.
I haven't started to despise a character like this since freaking Joffrey.
Oh, you know who I really hate?
Ooh.
Kemen, is that his name? That little shithead?
Oh, the new king's son.
Yeah.
That fucker's got to die.
I want him to die.
That
I want him to
dude's
die
gotta
on a level
die.
like Sir Christian Cole. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And only his stupid little face.
I'm kind of disappointed in what's his name's sister. I thought she was going to be a good, and she's like, I'm going to be a brat.
She's such a brat.
You know what?
Just you wait till this episode. You're gonna hate her.
I think
Ugh.
they're kind of setting her up for a turn back sort of thing. But I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
But-
I hope
So
so.
go back. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, you guys all know how disappointed I was in Lord of the Rings season 1. They have done such a better job this season, and I'm really starting to get on board with it now.
It's great.
So-
Well, I actually want to talk about this too because Forbes' review of this, which I know it's Forbes, but still, was like yet another slog of an episode. Do we watch the same thing?
Well,
There were
an
so many things
opinion.
that had to
Everyone's gonna have different
happen.
opinion, and I didn't like. I've checked out of Forbes, to be honest with you.
That's
I
fair. Mm-hmm.
used to love Forbes, and I'm not shit talking Forbes. I'm just saying I've kind of personally checked out of Forbes a little bit. But
I know.
I got to tell you, this season is so much better than season 1.
It's a lot
Yeah.
better.
When I realized I had missed the last episode of season 1 and I was 3 episodes in the new one,
Yeah.
and I went back, it's night and day. You're like, this
It's
is
so
the
different.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it better
It's
than
really-
Kite Man and Soprano?
Hell yeah.
And I love the iteration of the Ents. I loved their representation of
Well,
the
you got
Ents.
the End Wives, right?
You had a lady
Yeah.
ant. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, sorry, Ray. What were you going to say?
No, this wasn't about Lord of the Rings. I was just waiting for you guys to finish. I wanted to go back to that question about War of the Roses. I was thinking Lizzie Kaplan, and it was the Fatal Attraction series.
Oh yeah, that
That's
that
where
came
it
out
confused.
ages ago.
Yeah.
By the way, I
Gotcha.
love Lizzie Kaplan. All right.
All right.
One of my favorite things Lizzie Kaplan ever. Hot Tub Time Machine. Oh, I'm awesome. Believe that. It's like one of the, oh, I love her in that movie. Okay, what's next?
Kemeton says, I read the New York Times article about Iger. He probably probably picked JPEG as a fall guy so he could come back. I hope that his successor would be picked behind him and be an outsider like Eisner when he came. Disney is in dire need of new blood. A lot of people did not like Eisner though when he came in.
No, and listen, on paper, Chapek. Again, I was all for the Chapek hire when they hired him. On paper, that hire made sense. And I was all on board with them until he started completely dismantling the structure at Disney, particularly when he created that middle management layer and took the power and authority away from the creative studio heads and gave it to a banker.
Right.
And that's when I started to go, oh no. And then he started doing all these other things. And it's like, again, on paper, he's a lifetime company man. He had experience in a lot of the different divisions. It's just that, yeah, it just went south. Again, you can do things that on paper are right the decision and then have it not work out.
And there's no way I almost said Eisner. Iger could have known about COVID. So, I mean, like, oh, come on.
You can't blame, you cannot blame Chapek or anybody for COVID.
Like, I know it's going to happen. Our parks are all going to close.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right, what's next?
Definitely read that article, though, you guys. It's a good one. It's good.
Anonymous says, hi, John and crew. I know how much you love Supernatural. So hear me out. What do you think of Jared P. as Hal Jordan? He's a good actor, has the look, and is in his 40s. I think he's great and doesn't get the love he deserves. Thanks, bring on the field.
Look, ex-actor and ex-role. I love him. I've liked him even before Supernatural. I think he's wonderful.
You were a big Gilmore Girls guy?
But I don't ever recall seeing him in was he in Gilmore
Yeah,
Girls?
he was Rory's first boyfriend, Dean. He's so...
Yeah, that's right.
Dean
I
was
remember him in
terrible.
Smallville.
Oh.
I remember him in Smallville, but
He was so young in that.
He was such a baby.
he was just a baby face. But I mean, and he does the voice of Batman, and now he's coming off of playing
Walker, Texas Ranger.
No. What wait a second, who
We're
did he
talking about
say?
Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, that's Jared Padalecki. Did he say Jensen Ackles or Jared Padalecki?
He
Jared
said
Padalecki.
Yeah.
Oh, I so sorry. I had in my brain that he was talking about Jensen Ackles.
Oh, no.
Oh, because that's who I heard. Sorry, that's who I've heard other people bring up to play Hal Jordan.
Oh.
Jared Padalecki is Hal Jordan? I don't see it.
Oh,
I like him a lot, but I don't see him as a Hal Jordan at all.
No.
Yeah. Jensen Ackles would be closer, but I was saying Jensen Ackles coming off of The Boys playing
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy to now transition to, I don't see it. But listen, I love both those guys. I want to see them continue to thrive in their careers, but I certainly don't see Jared Padalecki as a Green Lantern. But that's just me. All right, what's next?
Scott Brown says, wanted to highly recommend Rebel Ridge. It's a fantastic action movie that just dropped on Netflix. The lead, Aaron Pierre, is going to be a star. Netflix should make this into their Reacher. He's rumored to be on the short list to play Jon Stewart.
Ooh.
I know nothing about this, except I've heard a couple of people recommend to me.
Same.
It's called Rebel Ridge, right?
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of people now recommend that to me. And listen, Netflix original movies suck. They're dog shit. They're the worst studio in the world for making original movies. But even the worst will once in a while crap out a gem. Netflix has done that. They've had a couple of really
So
good
this is who he's
ones.
talking about for Hal.
I mean, for every one good one, they have 40 bad ones, but they've had a couple of really good ones. And so you keep putting out enough movies, eventually you're going to get lucky and make some good ones. But I've heard this is really good.
he's got the physicality. Oh, Don Johnson's in Rebel Ridge. Wow. Interesting.
Oh, that's the one where he was like an ex-military guy and they did him dirty or his brother did or something like that. And now he's out to get them all. I love those types of movies. I have seen the trailer for this. I didn't realize this was it. I thought the trailer to this was great. I've heard really good things about it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, when I was thinking like Rebel Ridge, it sounds like it's a war movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know it was like that. Scott Brown says Beetlejuice 2 was disappointing. Wait, was disappointmenting. It was overly complicated for no reason, and you could have taken out 4 characters from this movie, and it would have been better for it. The worst offense is it's boring and not funny, or fun Beetlejuice is in maybe 15 minutes.
Remember though, too, in the original Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton isn't actually in the movie that much.
I was just gonna say
Were you?
this. It's about the Maitlands. It's not about Beetlejuice.
Right.
Yeah, even though
He's there.
it is called Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
but still, listen, I agree with you. There are several characters in this that you had no purpose for being in the movie. What really killed me? This is minor spoiler. I think if you care about Beetlejuice, you would have seen it already, but minor spoiler. She happens to run by a counter and, Dad? I'm like, oh God, come on.
Yeah, that was a little too convenient.
Really?
I could have done that one so much better.
I like the movie, so when I'm saying that was too convenient, that was too
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah, that was too much. So.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Jared Oberfeld says, it is time for Tua and football to go their separate ways. The dude already has CTE. What's CTE? Also, John, I agree with you on fandom. It has become so cancerous that I feel like I do not want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate thing.
Tua Tagovailoa, who is the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, of course, won a national title at Alabama. He got another concussion yesterday.
Oh, boy.
And look, so here's the thing, though. It's not like he's concussion prone and like, well, he got a concussion. No, anybody would have got a concussion from that hit he took. But this is now 3 or 4 that he's had. This kid is incredibly talented, a lot of upside, but it's time to take your millions and call it a day.
Yeah, because then you're risking your health.
Again, it's just bad luck. I'm not saying he's more susceptible to concussions than anybody else, because that hit he took yesterday would have given anybody a concussion. But you've now had 3 or 4 of these. It's time to start thinking about the rest of your life. You've got a whole ass ton of money. You have more money than I'll ever have in my lifetime. Take it, go do other things, enjoy your family. Yeah, I'd say it's time to hang it up. So I just do what's best for you, man. Do what's best for you. Don't worry about football, dude. You made your millions. Move on. All right, what's next?
Ali Machado with a 2-parter. Hey, John and crew, today's my 23rd birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey.
I just started my first job out of college. I've been watching you since I was 13, since the AMC days.
Wow.
You guys have been there through many big moments in my life, so I wanted to thank you all for what you do. Let's see. Wanted to recommend the Oscar-winning documentary Free Solo.
Loved it.
Unless you
Oh, yeah,
hate
that was
heights.
great.
It's one of my favorites and got me into rock climbing, which is now my favorite hobby. Since you love sports, I think you will enjoy this one. Truly one of the greatest athletic feats ever.
Here's the funny thing. I also love Free Solo. It is the thing that will forever keep me out of rock climbing.
Yep.
That movie will totally guarantee that I will never rock climb. Including, what was that documentary that Joseph Gordon-Levitt later did a fictional movie about, the guy who walked the tight wire
Oh,
between the
yeah.
Oh,
buildings?
Man on Wire.
Yeah, Man on Wire.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
no way,
loved
bro.
it, but that guaranteed I will never try that.
Man on Wire that was a documentary.
Yeah, that was a really, really good one. And Free Solo, of course, Oscar winning. It was absolutely great. And thank you for watching us for that long. It's always amazing. I've been doing this long enough now that getting people telling me, it's like, hey, I'm on my 3rd marriage. I watched you when I was in I started watching you when I was in high school. It's like, wow, we've been doing this for that long. Listen, I started my first post to my old website, the Movie Blog. My first post was done in the summer of 2003. I've been doing this over 20 years now.
Dang.
So it's really funny, like hearing from people who are like, I was 18 when I started following you. Awesome. And I just opened my own medical practice. What? Like, so it's kind of funny. We've been doing it that long that we're hearing this stuff.
I love that your viewers become doctors, but also triple divorcees.
Can't do one
Divorce
without
rate
the other.
in medicine is very high
That's
because
true.
you're never around.
That's true.
Can't do
You're always
one
busy.
without the other. It is in a moment of reflection. It's funny. I've been very, very lucky, in the sense that back in the early 2000s that when I was doing the movie blog and I had a couple of friends hold an intervention with me and say, you need to quit your job. I was working at the law firm at the time. You need to quit your job and just do this full time. Because I had just gotten a check from Google for $400. $400. My website made from Google ads on my blog for a month. And they were like, they had an intervention with me. They said, you need to quit your job because the long as we've known you, you've loved movies. This is what you really love. You love talking movies and stuff like that. You need to quit your job and go do this. For almost 20 years, I've been able to take something that I just really love to do and made a pretty good living at it for this long. And, you know, at different iterations and different stages along the way, there was the movie blog era, there was the For Your Consideration era, there was the AMC era, there was the Collider era, and now ultimately the John Campea Show era. And I've been able to earn a living doing this and buy a house, put my wife through school, and then school again, and then school again. Get that doctorate, baby. No more, no second doctorate. Just finish this doctorate and we're good. But I'm the luckiest guy in the world that I've been able to take something that I just naturally love and make a living out of it for this long, and to have people along on the journey with me for that long is absolutely amazing. And yeah, I'm a very lucky guy and I'm very cognizant of that. So thank you for being along on the journey with me as long as you have. And again, happy birthday. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Scooby Drool says, hi, to follow that up.
Oh, was there? Oh yeah, that is the, you're the right one. Yeah.
Scooby Drool.
Hi, John and Fabulous Crew. I am intrigued of the upcoming, Thunderbolts film.
He's probably intrigued.
But yeah. But me and my friends theorized that with the asterisk in the title, it led me to, and my buddies, to theorize the team will evolve into Dark Avengers. Do you believe that will happen?
No chance. Yelena is not turning into, I don't know what the asterisk means. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, Thunderbolts has an asterisk on the title.
It's a sun. Just know that.
I don't think it's a sun. I think it's an asterisk. I think it'll definitely, that asterisk will have meaning in the movie, clearly, but I don't think it's about them becoming the Dark Avengers or anything like that. We'll find out what it is. I'll tell you what. I was like, when they first said they were going to do a Thunderbolts, I thought this is a mistake. But then they announced the lineup, and I was like, okay. And then came that D23 trailer. I'm like, okay, I'm actually quite excited for this movie. So hopefully it turns out well.
I mean, oftentimes that denotes a footnote.
Yeah.
So maybe there's like some kind of footnote to this.
Or something that's being left out, an omission.
Yeah.
So it could just simply be the way that these guys are going to be documented in legal documents from the government.
Well,
all right. What's next?
Scooby's back. I totally enjoyed Alien Romulus. Do you believe the franchise will focus on a character, Amanda Ripley, Ellen Ripley's daughter from the Alien Isolation game, or another family tree member from Ellen Ripley? May the filthy force be with you. The fact that you said the force, I'm like, they're not the Skywalkers. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, no, they won't. They won't, and they should not. You need to move on from that. It's much bigger than that. So no, they won't, and no, they shouldn't. And the reality is 99.9999999% of the movie going on has never played that game or heard of that thing or anything.
But you should, because it's so good and so scary and so hard. Oh man, it's
when
the
did
best.
that game come out?
Ooh, it's older.
A while ago.
Yeah. Man. So Logan is even worse about scary movies than me. He'll watch them though. And so that game, you can turn it on so your remote can like hear you. So if you're too loud and you freak out, the alien comes and finds you.
Oh my God.
It's the best. It's,
Play that at night.
That's pretty cool interaction. Oh,
it's so
You're playing at home, your dog starts barking, you're like, ah!
Literally though, Trico would start barking. He'd be like, you gotta stop, the alien's gonna get me. And then you'd get eaten. It's the best.
All right, what's next?
Amin says, a couple of weeks ago, Neil Druckmann posted a pic with a meeting with Fede Alvarez. The caption was, don't forget about your NDA. I hope he gets to direct an episode in season 3 of Last of Us. Imagine him doing the Rat King Hospital episode. Oh my, he'd be perfect.
Ooh.
Yeah, but maybe it could be about Druckmann doing something with Fede Alvarez. Like writing something like another project that Fede Alvarez wants to do. Like it doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with The Last of Us. So, I mean, Look, whenever great creative people start working together, that's always potentially very exciting. So let's see what comes out of that. All right, what's next?
Logan says about the Dexter topic yesterday. Last message about it, I promise. The sequel series will have him alive. Michael C. Hall was interviewed at Comic-Con asking how Dexter survived, to which he said, "It's very cold out there. I hope there's a manhunt for Dexter."
Look, I'm over Dexter. I loved the original series, but what was the sequel series called again?
No, not Resurrection.
Something Blood or
Yeah, New Blood. Was it
New Blood? Was
Blood?
that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, wah wah. Like it just made me go, no, just checked out. Now, look, I admit though that we talked about it on the show yesterday. Dexter Original Sin, the prequel series, just dropped its first teaser, and I got to admit, I'm intrigued. I do have to admit I'm intrigued. Christian Slater playing Harry.
I was just gonna say that's what's really got me. I'm very excited about that.
And you got Patrick Dempsey in there. You got Sarah Michelle Gellar in there. Okay, look, it's that. Okay, you know it's got potential,
Sure.
but it's going to have to kill it for me to care about Dexter Resurrection.
See what you did there.
Well
done, well done.
Kill it. No, it's really going to have to crush it.
Yeah.
Because that New Blood series was awful, and so, but I love the original so much. So who knows? Let's see how it turns out. All right, what's next?
John says, with 3 more seasons to come, if this is the trajectory Rings will take, this series could be an all-timer. John, why doesn't Star Wars get better like Rings did? Yeah, why don't they? Why doesn't everything just be like HBO?
Just get better.
Why doesn't Rings be like, HBO?
Yeah.
Hey team, why don't you win more? You know what you should do? Win more.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Going on though. Sorry.
Jerks, man.
I feel like they make the same damn
Jeez.
mistake in every product minus Andor.
Again, listen, here's the thing. We talk about this all the time. Everybody thinks making this stuff is easy. The greatest, most talented people in the world will sometimes create bad stuff. And there's only so many of the greatest, most talented people. It's not easy. Everybody tries to make the greatest thing ever. Everybody tries. Everybody sets out to make the best thing they can. And quite often you get a script, and it's like, this is great. And then it gets executed. And like, guys, if there's one thing I could really, before I retire, really embed into the fandom, the first thing would be an understanding that all entertainment is subjective. But the second thing is this. Understand how Herculean and monumentally hard it is to make something that's good. Everybody thinks the things they don't do must be easy to do. That's something I learned from Dilbert. Everybody thinks that things they don't do themselves must be easy to do. It's remarkably hard. And that's why when we do get stuff that's really good, we should absolutely celebrate it. Now, as far as Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power goes, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Season 1 was a flat disappointment. Hey, 5 episodes into season 2, definitely turning things in the right direction. But let's see if they stick the landing on the season or not. We still got several episodes to go. Maybe they crap the pants. But again, like, why doesn't this other thing just do great too? Well, they're trying. Everybody tries. Every movie that's ever come out, the people who wrote it, directed it, and acted in it are already writing their Oscar acceptance speeches. I guarantee you they are. So
Dakota Johnson was like, Madam Web is it for
I
me.
think maybe they knew before it came out they might not be sitting on a gold
1000%
treasure.
knew. She jumped ship.
Yeah, but just remember, doing this stuff is hard. And why don't they just make something good? Believe me, they try. Everybody tries. But it's very difficult to do. All right. Is that it? Oh no, we got more.
We got some more. Toasted says, hey, John and crew. Today, James McAvoy revealed that Joaquin Phoenix almost starred in Split and just 2 weeks before the shooting. Love Joaquin's performances, but I'm seeing a pattern. I thought Toasted was joking here. I guess he's being serious.
If he's serious, yeah, I could totally see Joaquin Phoenix playing that. I mean, I don't see a pattern. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix plays a lot of different kinds of characters. Just because he's done Joker doesn't mean it's a pattern with that. Anyway, that being said, would he have been great? Yes, but James McAvoy killed it. And maybe Joaquin Phoenix would have been even better, but James McAvoy did kill it. It's really too bad, though, about Glass. I can't think now of Split without then getting this overwhelming sense of letdown because I got to then think of Glass. Glass was so bad. It was so bad.
There was
It had
such
promise.
a build up to it too. Yeah, it had so
It had
much promise.
so much potential.
Those trailers were great.
Unbreakable too. I mean, what a film, but
Eh.
goof my goof.
All right, what's next?
Joe says, "Hey crew, I didn't realize the Killer's Game was coming out this week. Since I had a little to no marketing just to realize that it's not showing in any screenings in Australia. This is time. This time a Lionsgate movie has skipped Australia. The last film being The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. That skipped the UK as well. I was wondering if there is a particular reason some Lionsgate movies don't open in certain countries or territories. Some reason we got Borderlands and The Crow, but not other releases.
Territorial rights. It's very complicated. You know, somebody who has the rights to that territory may just want to put it straight streaming. Here's the thing, though. I had been very excited about Killer's Game. And I was going to go see it yesterday as opposed to watching the Buffalo Bills play the Miami Dolphins. Then I realized, they haven't lifted the review embargo. Oh, well, guess I'm not going to go see Killer's Game. Because if studio, you're not going to show confidence in your movie, why should I have confidence in your movie? And now that I look up, now that the day after the movie's come out, it's got a 28%.
Yeah, that was one that, yeah.
With only 18 reviews. They didn't lift the review embargo of this movie till the day the movie came out. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, guess I'm staying home to watch Thursday Night Football. And I'm glad I did. It was great. The Bills did great. But, yeah, I've been psyched for this movie ever since they did the previews for it at CinemaCon. But then, like, clearly the studio thought it was shit. So why should I think it's anything but shit?
Man, Lionsgate's been on a slump.
They have sucked lately.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart to say, because I love Lions. I've got a history with Lionsgate. I worked for Lionsgate. They used to give me a paycheck because I used to work for them. So it breaks my heart. But between this,
The Crow?
what's that?
The Crow?
The Crow, Borderlands, like they are,
This is a lose-lose year.
they need new people picking the projects they're going to get behind
just
because
keep
they're
doing John
not
Wick.
doing well.
Didn't they do Abigail, though? That didn't make a lot of money, but...
Ooh, okay. If they did, I don't know who did Abigail, but if they did Abigail, that's a big win because that movie is great. Didn't make a lot of money. That's on you guys. You should have gone.
Universal Pictures.
Oh, sorry.
nope, sorry. So no.
Sorry, take it back.
Nope. Lionsgate doesn't get credit for Abigail.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was the Lionsgate film. I just threw
Too
it out there
bad.
because I know nothing.
Abigail is great. Go see Abigail.
So
But
that
yeah,
leaves this week,
Lionsgate's got to be getting into trouble then.
Yeah, that leaves my old ass and
And no one's going to go see that.
Speak No Evil.
It's Aubrey Plaza, but no one's going to go see it.
I am excited about it though.
So am I. All
It
right, what's
opens up
next?
the same time as Wild Robot. I know they're different, but
Crap.
Now, somebody say, hold on. Todd Nappernick is saying in the live chat, Megalopolis. They still have Megalopolis on deck. True, but
Oh, they do?
yes,
like-
but
You're a theater man.
but they're only the distributor,
Okay.
and they actually got paid to distribute it.
Yes.
Normally, the distributor pays the filmmaker for the right to distribute the film. Nobody wanted to distribute this film, so Francis Ford Coppola literally paid Lionsgate to take it out and distribute it.
But to the general public who don't know any of that and just go watch Megalopolis.
It's still not a Lionsgate
okay.
movie though, although they'll have their branding on it.
Right.
All right, what's next?
AL says, since it's clear that Blade won't hit its current November 2025 release, do you think it's possible that Disney could give up that release date to Sony for either Beyond the Spider-Verse or Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4?
The thing stopping that movie from coming out is not finding a release date. That's not the problem. And Disney doesn't have to give it up for somebody else.
Yeah.
They don't have a movie to put out on that day.
Yeah.
That's
It's not like you.
if
like-
we can't have it, nobody will.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, we're releasing a movie that day. Oh, I guess we're not allowed. No, you can put out a movie on any day you want. Doesn't matter if 30 other movies are coming out on that date. So if Sony wants to put out the movie on that date, they don't need Disney's permission. They don't need Disney to give it up.
No.
It doesn't belong to them at all. So if they want to put it on that date, they can put it on that date with or without Blade opening.
I'm going to stick it to Disney and dress up as Blade and still wait in the ticket line. That day.
Just stay there.
You know what?
November, I'm here for my ticket for Blade.
That's my silent protest.
They should just release Blade whether they have it or not.
Just release Blade.
What do they have? Yeah.
Just have a picture. Just put up Mahershala Ali on his iPhone
There you go.
reading
There's our
something.
movie.
There you go.
That's what we did.
But read it in Blade's voice.
Yeah.
We better have a trailer by Alan.
Blade.
Please.
I don't know that we're even going to have a script by that day.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Whatever,
next?
guys.
The Tick says, I know you're happily married, but which fictional character would have you hand divorce papers to your respective spouses if they manifested into real world? Showed up at your front door and asked you to ride off into the sunset. I'd be a little freaking.
This is a trap.
I'd be a little creeped out by
In
that.
Admiral
Yeah.
Akbar's voice.
Yeah.
It's a trap. Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, none. I mean, I just happen to be lucky that I actually married the greatest girl in the world. Okay, but let's say I wasn't married. Rosario Dawson's character in Clerks 2 is like every high school guy's dream. She's gorgeous, she's cool, she's funny. She's like Rosario Dawson's character in like is like the ultimate nerd guy's dream girl in Clerks 2. So I would say, were I not married, that would be one I would definitely be looking at.
There you go. Ray, if you weren't married,
Mine was Kathy Bates in Misery. That's
there you go.
I love
Get in the
older
car.
women.
We're going for a ride.
Older women.
It gives you a lot of
Takes
attention.
control.
Gives
Like,
you a
why
lot
do you
of
have this
attention.
mallet? Don't worry.
What about you, Chris?
Well, I'm married to real life Nick Miller.
There you go.
Oh,
Like,
that's yeah.
Logan.
that's true.
Logan
Does he crack
is
when
Nick
he gets
Miller.
up?
He does.
Does his whole body crack?
He's such an old man, and I love him so much. He's perfect.
Now Kaiju Comics said.
Oh, how did you?
Yeah,
skip
shut
over-
up, Ray. Now Nova Kaiju Comics. Hey, all this question goes for everyone. What is a widely disliked movie that you actually enjoy? For me, I love Mortal Engines. Wow. I understand it has tons of problems, but the vehicles, world lore, and costume designs are just so damn cool.
Someone pay and ask that question again and direct it to Jonathan, please. Thank you.
I can't think of a panned movie that
That
I
you
love
really liked.
that no one else does.
Maybe there's like an old movie that didn't do
Employee of the
great
month.
or something, but like
So one that everybody hates that you really like.
Yeah.
you really love that one. Life is a Wheel.
Megaforce.
Megaforce.
But anybody who's
but,
cool likes that.
but
movie.
more recently,
Okay.
But more recently, I mean, I usually go to Armageddon, but I'm finding these days more and more people are saying they like Armageddon.
Okay.
So that one may not count.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'd have to think about that.
It's definitely not Expendables 5 or 4.
No, no, not that.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'll have to think about that.
Good question.
which was Expendables where Chuck Norris shows up and cleans house like near the end? Was that 2 or 3?
I think he did that in
Every
two of them. I
single
think he
one.
did in
Every
3 and
single
4.
one.
Oh,
No.
okay.
I think he only did in 3 and 4, I think. But
Oh, I mean, it's a purposefully bad movie, but Wolf Cop. Wolf Cop is so funny and so bad.
Wolf.
did that actually get a theatrical release?
No.
Oh, then.
Watch it this Halloween, kids. It's messed up.
All right, what's next?
Simon Blakemore says, "Hi, John and crew. Enjoying the show. I can't believe we lost 2 legends in the film world, James Earl Jones and the wrestling world. Sid Vicious, my heart goes out to their friends and family. Rest in peace."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course, one was 93 years old. So that kind of puts me more in the mode of celebrating James Earl Jones's life. But yeah, he's definitely going to be missed. Absolutely going to be missed. All right, what's next?
All right, down to our final 3 tips.
All right.
Bry Guy D. Stringham says, "Fixed it, John. Tom Hiddleston as Winnie the Pooh, Tom Holland as Piglet, Giancarlo Esposito as Owl, Tony Hale as Rabbit, Melanie Zanetti, the voice of Mum from Bluey, as Kanga, and Matthew Broderick as Eeyore, and Margot Robbie as a female Tigger." There you go. It's
Okay.
fixed.
Sure.
He fixed it.
All right,
What
what's
was
next?
broken?
Yeah, what was broken? What's next?
Anonymous, thoughts on Tua, and do you think he should retire? What good is all that money if you don't have a good quality of life and you can't remember your kids' names in your 50s? He barely got hit and started fencing. Scary thing to watch.
Oh, what are you talking about? Barely got hit. I'm surprised his neck didn't break. Like that was not barely got hit. Like I don't care what anybody says.
Did
that
he
was
like?
not.
I didn't see it. Did he get up and like start running or something? Did he like, or did
Oh,
he
I
just
can't
on the
remember what
ground?
happened after it. It's just like when I saw that, like he was going down and his
Yeah.
head got hit and his head just went like
Oh.
that, and it was not good.
Ugh.
But he just signed a new deal too in this offseason. So he's got a lot of money coming to him. He's going to have to, by officially retire, he's going to have to go. What I would do if I were him is take the doctor's advice, sit out the rest of the season, and collect that huge paycheck he's going to get for the season and then announce his retirement. That's what I would do if I were him.
Oh, I got a movie.
What's it?
Okay.
Elysium.
Dude, we've moved on.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. Well, I just wanted to give him one answer. I mean, that is a movie that I liked that no one else liked.
Okay.
See,
awesome.
I answered. Again, Jonathan, why don't
So,
you give your answer?
Anonymous says, "Hey crew, in regards to Disney Plus review embargoes, Disney has been playing them close to the drop date, regardless of the quality of the show. The new Star Wars Lego series that dropped today had an embargo of today at
Who cares
midnight.
about it?
But Star Wars
That's
Lego,
Star Wars Lego. Who cares?
that's
Yeah, Star Wars
low
Lego.
risk.
No, Disney does play her closer. But I actually don't mind it because there is an argument to be made from a PR strategy of like having like full review embargo 3 days before this thing comes out, right? Because you start building up, you build, and you want to crescendo at a certain time. There is such a thing as releasing the embargoes too early. So, but Disney has always, actually, well, not always, but quite often played it a little closer to release dates than others do. But like actual day of release for I'm sorry, like all due respect to Star Wars Lego fans, but who cares? But for an actual premium Disney Plus show that they're putting out, that's a red flag, man.
That's some Five Nights at Freddy's stuff.
That's a red flag. All right, what's next?
All right, we got members.
You know what? I don't think we're going to have time for members today. We're going to have to wrap it up, I think.
All right.
All right, guys. That'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora.
Another one, Event Horizon. See you guys. Have a good weekend.
Jonathan Voico.
See you guys Monday.
Chris Carr.
Bye.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.